It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Monday's Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the 15th day of July, 2024, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. And I just got to notice, folks, this was almost shocking as I literally clicked on the button to go live, and it told me that I now had to have some kind of premium service with X. I got no notices about that. Not that I do that, but I don't know. You know, we were getting quite a few listeners from X, so now they want some kind. So I got to look into that one. All right, so welcome to the show today, folks. Some of you might have noticed the title of today's show is a little unusual. The title of today's show is A Flood and a Hawk. Doesn't have anything to do with the news stories today, but it sure does on my weekend and the lead up to the show today. I'll get to all that here in a couple minutes. We do have some news stories today, which we'll get to also. World's largest pizza party. A Coma passenger needs transport home. Bet on a balcony. Mariner of the Seas delayed, and high stakes sports betting at sea. And lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Tapioca Pudding Day. I'm okay with that. As a general rule, I like almost any kind of puddings. Not my favorite. I'd much rather have banana pudding or chocolate pudding or even vanilla pudding. But I'll eat tapioca pudding as well. No, it's just something about it's not quite my favorite. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you are listening to via the podcast and want to jump over to the video feed, there's always a link in the description of the podcast so you can do just that. A flood and a hawk, and how that relates to today's show. So first of all, we have to go to yesterday. I went out to the pool. Now, it was 98 degrees yesterday. By the way, it's going to be 99 today and 100 tomorrow. It was 98 yesterday. So I went out to the pool because we've had a couple of storms, and I am just totally ridiculous about the cleanliness of the pool. There's a few little bits of dirt in the bottom, so I said, I'm going to back the pool. Now, folks, backing the pool from a wheelchair is not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you're just not in the right place to leverage a 20-pound pole or however long that pole is, long pole, and that goes down to the bottom to the floor of the pool, and then there's a pretty heavy vac head on the end of that, and you push it along and it sucks the stuff up. I mean, it's a pretty simple system. You can see the hose goes over there down into the filtration system, and that's how it works. But when you're in a wheelchair, because I can't walk around the pool. Obviously I have to be very careful not to get too close to the edge of the pool. And I found out the hard way, you don't want to face the pool and do this, which gives you a little more leverage, because you can easily bump into the joystick. And I try to turn it off every time. Or the pole can hit the joystick and turn it back on. And you don't want to do that. So I got to I vac the pool. And in 98 degrees, by the time I was done, I was pretty hot and sweaty and ready to get in the pool. So I pulled over to it's a 3 or 4 to get in and out of the pool, and a pretty hefty railing because I can't do steps. I had to literally pull myself up. So I pulled the chair over there. I took my oxygen off because I'm getting in the water. Set it on one of the chairs like I always, because once I get in the water, I don't need the oxygen. So I get in the water and start moving around a little bit, get down to the deep end, and start my exercise program, which, quite frankly, folks, exercise for me is not swimming. I don't have the oxygen to do that anymore. But I do a lot of treading water. I do some marching, and I do some twisting in water. I do all sorts of things. And as long as my feet don't touch the bottom, so I'm in the deeper part of the pool, I'm good. And quite often I move back and forth, from the end of the pool to where up towards the shallow end where the slope, my feet will hit the bottom and I turn around and go back to the deeper end. That's my normal procedures. I'm probably 35 minutes into my workout in the water after I vac the pool, and I'm heading back toward the shallow end. I'm still doing my thing. And all of a sudden I hear something strange, and then I feel something strange, and I turned around and a huge red-tailed hawk swooped into the water, got a drink of water, and came up and flew away. Actually, wingspan brushed my head. Now, folks, I've never been a particularly religious person, so I had problems with that story about walking on water. Well, this old fat man found out what it's like to walk on water yesterday, because I got the hell out of the pool in a hurry. Scared the bejesus. And I love my hawks. I love my birds, but not dive bombing me in the pool. Now, he wasn't dive bombing me. I'm figuring it was a she. I'm figuring she was hot and tired from feeding those babies and had to get a drink of water and just swooped down and got it. She didn't care who was in the pool. But oh my goodness, it took 10 years off my life. I don't mind telling you that. So that's the hog story. No, that's not going to change anything. I'll be right back out there today. Don't worry. So it scared me yesterday. Got me out a few minutes earlier than I expected. So this morning, now, many of you that have followed me for a while, and I hate to be wasting some time here telling stories before I get to the news, but so this morning, many of you that have followed me know that I am an oxygen user, except when I'm sitting. I have a hose on my oxygen concentrator so that I can move about my room here, whether it's to the desk or over to my chair, and there's actually enough hose to get me to the bathroom. And that's about 5 or 6 steps. So with the oxygen going, I can get to the bathroom. And then, quite frankly, I'm sitting down for a minute or two, and I get my breath back to walk back to the room. Can't walk any further than that. But, and that way, and I don't want to get, I have a longer hose, but then that runs into problems with my sister and brother-in-law, who are 10 and 14 years older than I am. And I don't want to trip them up. They have trouble getting over it. My sister, with her walker, it's just, so I don't use the longer hose anymore. I use enough when I'm here, and I don't use this hose when they're up. I mean, they get up, they're not even up yet. They may be up now, but this is about the time they get up. The rest of the day, when I'm going, like if I go in to eat, I usually either take my tank or my portable unit. My portable unit's what I take outside of the pool. I can get in, put the portable unit on. Sometimes I may have to stop and rest before I get to the garage where the chair is. But that's my procedures. So I had to go walk the dog, I call it. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to pee. And those of you that are in my age range know when nature calls, you got to get on with it, or it can cause other problems. So it was one of those situations. I was sitting here behind the desk working, and nature called. So I got up, and I had my oxygen on, and I walked around the chair and headed out toward the thing, and I got my foot tangled in the hose. Now, it didn't trip me or anything, but there was like a click from the concentrator. So I turned around. I got my foot untangled. I turned around. It seemed like it was working fine. So I said, I got to go. So I went on to the bathroom when I realized there was no oxygen coming through the cannula. And I'm huffing and puffing. So I sat there long enough to get my breath back. And I walked back to the room. And I sat down on the side of the bed. So that was about, 8 steps or something. And I sat down on the side of the bed to get my breath back. And I realized this thing isn't putting oxygen out. So whatever I heard click, I didn't know what it was. So I grabbed a replacement unit for the whole water system. You put the water. It's just like the breathing machine some of you use at night. You have to put distilled water in it. Well, it works on the same principle, only it adds moisture into the oxygen to hopefully keep from drying my nose out really bad. And it doesn't work real well, but it makes it better than if I don't have it. So I said, well, let me replace maybe something happened to the water system. So I grabbed the new one and I unpackaged it and everything, sat down back on the edge of the bed, unpackaged it, and I unscrewed the top and I turned it off, of course, unscrewed the top, and I realized that seems like a little leak, and I said, oh, I cracked the thing. So I picked up the new one, the new water container, and I was going to pour the water from the old one in the new one. And I would go to pour like this, and it all comes straight out on the floor. And I just filled it up this morning. So it was a whole container. There's a hole in the old one about maybe 2 inches long and a quarter of an inch wide open hole. So the water just poured right out. So now well, never mind what I said. I went on and got the thing working, got the new one plugged in, hosed up and everything, turned the thing back on, got the oxygen going again. And when it came over here and grabbed a roll of paper towels, mopped up the flood, the mat I had under it to keep some of the noise from, because it gets a little noisy in here. Some of you may have heard it in the background before. The mat was soaked, dried everything up. I may have used some rather colorful language, let's say. So that's my story about a flood and a hawk. All right, so before we get to the news, how about a quick break from one of my network sponsors? All right, guys, on with the news for today. In celebration of a new partnership with Chef Tony Gimignani, the 13-time world pizza champion and the undisputed greatest pizza maker in modern history, Princess Cruises, recognized for the best pizza at sea, established a new Guinness World Records title for world's largest pizza party at multiple venues aboard its fleet of love boats, with hungry guests devouring more than 60,000 slices of pizza of the fresh from the oven pizza prepared by the cruise line's master chefs. Here's what it took to do this. Total weight of dough used, 6,512 pounds. Total weight of flour used, 3,417 pounds. Total weight of pepperoni slices used, 1,393 pounds. And the total weight of cheese used for the world's largest pizza party, 2,323 pounds. Wow. I gained 2 pounds just reading that story. Shanae Monique Turner, a 47-year-old woman from Norfolk, was enjoying her time on an undisclosed Carnival ship when she became ill. Her initial symptoms included numbness in her lower extremities, chest pains, and difficulty breathing. Eventually, she suffered 2 seizures and a cardiac arrest. Thanks to the Carnival Cruise Line team's efforts and efficiency, the Virginian is now stable in the hospital and may have a chance at overcoming her ailments, although she is still considered to be in critical condition. Her official diagnosis and related prognosis remain unclear. Due to the cost of medical transportation, Shanae is stranded in the hospital in Tampa, although her adult son, Devontae, desperately wants to bring her home. According to a GoFundMe campaign started by Devontae, it will cost $33,700 in order to fly his mother back to Norfolk and then transport her to the hospital via ambulance, none of which is covered by insurance. So far, the GoFundMe issue has raised $2,945, which leaves $30,755 to go until the family reaches their goal and she can return home. And yes, folks, before that story, that was my screw up. I was punching buttons and not in the right place. Sorry about that.
Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code CHILLIE for all your mobility needs. That's scoot around.
Who knew a 15-second video clip could be so controversial? Naomi James Adams has received a frosty reaction from her followers after posting a short TikTok from a recent expedition to Antarctica on board an Albatross expedition ship. In the clip, Adams can be seen lounging on her private balcony in a makeshift bed she set up outside. Despite the freezing Antarctic temperatures where snow covers the mountains and ice pops up on the ocean surface, even during the summer months, the crazy lady is posing while only wearing shorts. Thankfully, she does have earmuffs on. Adams, in black text over the video, said, "Is somebody going to match my freak? travel to Antarctica and set up my bed on a ship balcony so I don't miss any whales, penguins, or seals. Since its posting on June 25th, the TikTok has racked up 2.3 million views and over 2,100 comments, and most viewers not willing to match Adam's freak. That at least restores my faith in humanity, at least a little. One of her followers commented, "Sit out there when you go through Drake's Passage and film that." Saturday's sailing of Mariner of the Seas was delayed due to a medical emergency that caused the vessel to backtrack significantly toward Cozumel. The return to Galveston was approximately 5 hours late, necessitating a port cancellation on the current cruise. Today's scheduled call on Costa Maya is replaced with a sea day. Sportsbooks and cruise ship companies have embarked on an exciting partnership to bring sports betting and iGaming experiences to passengers at sea. This collaboration, featuring major players like BetMGM and Carnival Corporation, is revolutionizing the entertainment landscape on cruise ships by integrating sports betting into the travel experience. The collaboration between BetMGM and Carnival Corporation marks a significant milestone in the convergence of sports betting and cruise ship entertainment. BetMGM's expertise in sports betting and iGaming is now accessible on more than 50 ships spanning Carnival Cruise Line, Holland America, and Princess Cruises. Passengers aboard these ships can enjoy a comprehensive gaming experience provided by BetMGM. This includes a wide range of sports betting options and iGaming services, transforming their onboard entertainment. Carnival Cruise Line has introduced the Ocean Sportsbook on its ships, allowing passengers to place bets on various sporting events while cruising. This initiative is a significant step in integrating sports betting into the cruise experience. The Ocean Sportsbook offers a user-friendly platform where passengers can place bets on a wide array of sporting events, from football and basketball to international competitions, enhancing the onboard experience. By offering sports betting, Carnival Cruise Line aims to provide an additional layer of excitement and engagement for its passengers, making their time at sea even more enjoyable. Other cruise lines, Norwegian and Royal Caribbean to name two, are making similar strides to enter the sports betting atmosphere. Wow, that was certainly interesting. All right, so we've got a cruise coming up here in about 6 weeks. Hot Air Tom and me and a couple other people. We're going to be sailing out of Boston on the Jim, and one of the places we're going to stop is Sydney, Nova Scotia. I've never been to Sydney before. That's the world's largest violin at the port in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Now, while you're in Sydney, maybe you want to visit the fortress of Louisbourg, or maybe the Alexander Graham Bell Museum, or take a trip out to the lighthouse. A lot going on that cruise while we're in Sydney and other ports. The Jim sails from Boston on September 6th, goes to Quebec City in 7 nights, with stops in Bar Harbor, Halifax, Sydney, Charlottetown, and then it cruises along the St. Lawrence and into Quebec City. Prices start at $835 per person, $1,334 for solos, and there's still some cabins available. Folks, all you have to do is give me a call or text or email me at chilliefalls.com, and I can hook you right up. Join us on the Norwegian Jim, September the 6th. And that's going to end the news portion of today's show. So let's go see who's in the chat room fussing at me for making my normal screw ups on the show. Kenna's with us. Gretchen's there. Yeah, Gretchen appears that she's more beautifying herself for Fred. She's getting her hair colored purple or whatever she does at the salon. So she says that she's sitting under a Medusa. I thought that was something out of Greek lore. Medusa was snakes and things. But anyway, Gretchen's in a Medusa. Mike's with us. Hey, Mike. Mike says, I believe you, Gretchen. By the way, thanks for remembering the thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I thank Gretchen for that as well. That helps us channel out lots, folks. I gotta find out about what's this is up with X, because I've been getting 100 and plus people every show watching on X. So that was a kind of a shocker this morning. Hot Air Tom is with us. Are you aware NCL has added door decorations to the prohibited list? I guess they were serious. No, I wasn't aware of it. And do I care? No. I don't do door decorations. I don't carry anything extra in the suitcase. It's hard enough for me to get me and a chair and my computer stuff so I can do the show. I don't carry anything extra. Gary Older Than Dirt's with us. There's Steve also. Hey, Steve. Bob's with us. Todd's here. There's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Emily's with us. You must not be working today, Emily. I'm not used to you being here on time. Why did they end door decorations, Tom? Cindy wants to know. I get a kick out of Chillie talking about his colorful language. Yeah, well, there's words I'm not allowed to say. They'll take me off the air. Well, sometimes I still let them slip. Jenny Lynn, I'm trying to get that one out, is with us. Good morning. I believe you might be a new viewer, a listener, whichever. Yeah, no, you're on YouTube, so a new viewer. Emily says, welcome. Hope you enjoy Chillie's cruise and news stories. Okay, thank you, Em. Todd says, awesome flood stories. Made my day. Thank you, Todd. Jenny Lynn says, on a sweater. Oh, yeah, the gal had on shorts and a sweater and earmuffs sitting out there in Antarctica. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I know I wouldn't. I get on cruise ships, folks, and the air condition, I freeze in the air conditioning. And so I'm always in a sweatshirt on my cruises. It doesn't matter where it is. I got a sweatshirt on because I'm freezing. And the first thing I do when I get in my room is crank it up to the thermostat up all the way. My poor guy that comes in to clean the room's got to come into a room that's 10 degrees warmer than all the rest of his rooms. He's probably about to want to strangle me. But yeah, I don't do well with cold anymore. I'm too old for that. So that's why it took me so long to get in the pool. Pool was way too cold for me until we got this run 100-degree days. Emily says, if I'm not mistaken, another passenger on a cruise did the same thing, but she was on an island cruise. Well, that's a little different. Many times, a lot of us have been on in warm weather cruises where we go out in the balcony and maybe even take a blanket out and wrap up on the lounge chair in the balcony and go to sleep. I've done that before. Yeah, but this was actually setting up a bed. And I'm not, obviously, she can't carry the bed out from the room. I don't think, maybe she could. But anyway, I'm not sure wherewithal of how she did it. But and again, she's a TikToker, so this might have been just a setup deal to get, some TikTok trackage. But anyway, I thought it was a good story. Earmuffs and a sweater. Yeah, Jenny Lynn. Jenny says, laugh my, what off. I'd at least have boots on too. There we go. Now that's more up my alley. Jamin's with us. Good morning, Jamin. Jamin Watson. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Boy, M's doing all my work for me today. Appreciate that, Em. Everybody's saying hello back and forth. Hi there, Tom says, I am visiting the lighthouse and having a lobster lunch in Halifax. Jen Lynn says, I even wear my Ugg boots on Caribbean cruises. Woman after my own heart. I don't know how she did that on an Antarctica cruise. Me either. In Sydney, I told them we need a mini model of the Opera House to go with that violin. And everybody's laughing with Jenny Lynn now. Obviously, Jenny Lynn, you found out how easy it is to fit right into the chat room on this show. So, it happens. Oh, Emily says I spelled your name wrong. Well, that's okay. Emily says we got 3 days at 90-degree weather in New York. Yeah. Could she be banned for doing that? Well, I'm not even sure what cruise line she's on. It's an Antarctic expedition cruise. I've never been able to afford one of those, so I'm not even familiar with the rules. I would think that would be a possibility on the major cruise lines, mainly because there's somebody underneath them on the balcony, and I don't know. I would think it would be frowned on heavily. Now, whether you get banned for that, that's a good question. Maybe we'll get somebody on to answer that question. There's Roger from Glacier Bay National Park. Roger's up there in Alaska, where I'm heading in how many days now? A month from today. No. A month from tomorrow, I sail. A month from today, tonight, I get to Vancouver. By the way, Gary Older Than Dirt, I got a flight change. I'm not getting in now till midnight. So, if you go to bed, I may be waking your ass up when I get there. But anyway, that happens. So, everybody saying good morning to Roger. Roger, of course, is from Jacksonville and is up in Alaska. So I'm looking forward to going to Alaska this year. I hate to fly. 29 days to cruise and I will be in bed. Yeah, I got you. I understand. All right, guys. Anyway, so 29 days till Gary and Gretchen and Fred and I don't know who else is on that one. Are on the Grand Princess from Vancouver to Anchorage. And Gary and I are, as I've said before on this show, he and I are saving some money and staying in the same room for both nights, the night before the cruise in Vancouver and the night after the cruise in Anchorage. And because one of the main things that I said was you got to have two beds. And it's got to be handicap accessible for my wheelchair. So Scott Dahl's with us. Good morning, Scott. Just glad to have you guys on the show today. All right, don't forget, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I go live or when a new post is up. And again, folks, I have no idea about our friends from X, but I'll try to find out about that between now and tomorrow. So that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, just like Gary and Gretchen and Fred and I are going to be doing here in less than a month now. Y'all have a great day. See everybody tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.